In this tutorial, we're going to cover off a feature called IVR, which is interactive voice response. So what that basically means is, so for example, when you call up a company and you get that menu system that says, thank you for calling company X, Y, or Z, press 1 for sales, 2 for support, or please hold for an operator. That's the kind of thing we're going to set up. So when a call comes in, you're able to route calls to specific people in your office, and also the customer gets a welcome message. It looks quite professional. Now, the first part of this tutorial is essentially covered off in a tutorial that's on our support website called custom recording. So you do need to record your message first. So this message that says welcome, thanks for ringing, press 1 for sales, 2 for support, etc. That's a recording that we've made already. So if you check out that tutorial on our support page, you'll find out how to do that. But since we've already covered that off, we're going to go straight into setting up what we call an IVR. It's quite complex, this, but once you've done it like anything 1 or 2 times, it's pretty straightforward. But I'm just going to show you the sort of template for setting this up more than anything else. So we're going to go into the advanced administration panel here. Okay, now we're in here. We need to go to applications and then click on IVR. So this is the bit where we define how our menu system is going to work. So we're going to click on that. Now the option here is quite simple. Click on this button here to add a new IVR. So we're going to click on that. First things first, just give it a name. So we call it welcome menu, for example. Where it says announcement, now this is the very first thing that the thing's going to play back to the customer. So in here we should have a list of our custom recordings, and we did this one earlier, which is called welcome to. So we're going to select that from the list. This second option is direct dial. What that basically means is, say for example, when a caller calls in, it says press 1 for sales, 2 for support, or dial the extension if you know it. Then if you select this option, it allows the person, when they're listening to that message, to dial the extension of the person should they know it, and it will just bypass the whole thing, and it will just connect them directly to the extension in question. So I often select that because even if you don't announce it, it's quite a useful feature to have. Timeout, this is the amount of seconds that the system will wait after the message has been spoken. 10 seconds is way too long. That's the default. I'll change that to say 3 seconds. So there's a 3-second pause. It allows people to dial extension numbers and what have you and get through. Now it's entirely up to you how you set all this up, but I'm going to show you a basic template which I find works perfectly well. Invalid retries is the number of times someone can try to select an extension number or dial an extension number and make a mistake. Now generally I don't give people the option to retry, so I would set that to 0. So if they know the extension number, they dial say 1 2 3 4. If they make a mistake and that extension number doesn't exist, it's not going to give them the opportunity to try again, because otherwise you have to create custom recordings that say sorry, that extension doesn't exist, please try again. It becomes a little bit laboured. So that basically means here, this invalid recording, we can set that to none. Because basically if they make a mistake when they're dialing the extension number or pressing 1 for sales or 2 for support, and say the button 2, the menu option 2 doesn't actually exist, that we don't have to record a oops, you've made a mistake message. In the event that they do make a mistake, however, which they almost certainly will, they'll dial an extension number that doesn't exist. That call needs to go somewhere anyway. So we're going to choose on here a list of destinations that the call can go to. So you may have already set up on your system a thing called a ring group, which is a group of phones, or you can send it straight to an extension by selecting an extension. So you can just send it to this one, for example. That's just myself. So if they make a mistake, send it straight to my extension. Timeout is, again, I don't like giving people the opportunity to sort of hang around on the menu system. So again, I set that to 0. So if someone didn't press a button, it would eventually say, sorry, no response has been received, please try again. I don't allow people to do that. If they don't press a button, we're going to put them through to the standard destination. So again, timeout, retry recording, we set that to none because it doesn't need to be one. Append original announcement, you can ignore that because that would basically repeat the announcement at the very start as if they're starting afresh. And again, the timeout recording, that's going to be set to none as well. So that's the bit that says, sorry, we haven't received a response. If there's a timeout destination, now this is basically the more important part, because if you're recording like we did on our previous tutorial, says something like please hold and we'll put you through to an operator, this needs to be a valid destination that is going to be the sort of the catch-all, if you like. So on this one we could select, say, a ring group. So we've got a ring group here called support. That will be the group of phones that all ring at the same time if an option is not selected. So it will go through to everyone if they sort of time out, which basically means they're going to hold for an operator. Then what we can do at the bottom here is create options for buttons that they press. If they press 1 for sales, as we said in our previous recording, then we can send it to go to an extension. So we can say, all right, send it through to my extension here. And then if they press 2 for support, for example, then why not send it to a ring group, which is the ring group support. And then that's where the phones will be, the inbound caller will be sent. So if they press 1, it will go to my extension directly. If they press 2, it will go to the support ring group. And then that's it. So we can click on submit, and we've basically made the changes. We've created a new IVR. So that's all fine and good. However, still, we've created the IVR, but it's kind of just sat there in the ether. It's not actually doing much. So it's never actually going to be used until we sort of put it on the end of our phone line. So when our caller phones in, we want them to be presented with this menu. So to do that, we need to go into another option now, which is called connectivity, and then inbound routes. So we're going to click on inbound routes, and then here on your right hand side you should see a list of phone numbers. Perhaps you've only got one there, you might have more if you've got more inbound phone numbers, but these will be the phone numbers that people are dialing. So for example, here we've got an 0203 026 0273 number. So if anyone dials that number, this is where we define what happens. So when a call comes into the system from that number, direct, that's in English terms, it's called a DDI, direct dial inbound. So that's 0203 number. When someone dials that number, we can ignore all of this stuff here. The very important bit is the bit at the bottom, is the destination. So currently we've got it set to ring the support group. So if anyone rings 0203, it's going to ring the entire support team. But we don't want that to happen. We want it to play that menu system first. So to do that, we set the destination to IVR. You'll see this IVR option is listed now. And then it will list all the IVRs that we've created on our system. So in this case, welcome menu. So when we click submit, that basically means now anyone that dials 0203 blah 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 will go to the IVR menu system, and then they can go through the press 1 for sales, 2 for support, or please hold for an operator process. And that's it, done. None of this will actually happen until we press this red apply config. Normally this appears on the right hand side, it's just the screen is a bit smaller where we're doing this recording from. So just keep an eye out for this red button, and whenever you see it, click it. So that actually applies the changes. So up until the point you press that button, nothing has changed. So do remember to press that red button. And that just about covers off the IVR. It's a little bit complex in parts, so if you do get stuck, just give us a call and we'll do our best to help you out. But that gives you an overview anyway, which you should be able to follow pigeon fashion if you like to get yourself up and running. Okay, thanks.